Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the market close for Wednesday, hump day. Oh boy, we are here. And we got a show tomorrow too. So this has been a full week for sure as we move a little bit deeper into January. Now, some interesting things I was looking at today. This actually was really interesting. And before we even go to the charts, I want to go somewhere else. I want to go to the United States for a moment, guys. Let's do it. Let's do it. All right. This is a really interesting thing. So this all, of course, we're going to be talking a little bit about oil coming from Venezuela. So here's the interesting thing here. I'm gonna grab my marker here. So if this is the United States, here's an interesting thing. We've got a lot of refineries around the Gulf. Whoops, I think I have to lock this. Let me lock this in. Lock. All right, now I think I can draw on it. All right, that's what I want to do. I want to draw on it. So we got a lot of refineries in the States. You know, there's some on the Gulf. There's some up here in the Midwest. Guys, these are not the exact locations of refineries. I'm just saying these are some potential refineries. I'm not going to put all of them in, of course. I'm just going to put a few of them in, just to sort of demonstrate something. So right now, where are these refineries getting their oil from? Well, they're getting them from Canada. So let's draw some oil. We're just gonna say it's all coming from Alberta. All right, there's a pipeline. Here's another pipeline. Here's another pipeline. We'll draw a pipeline down here. We'll go here. We'll go here. All right, we got a pipeline, let's say, that comes down here. Another one comes here. We'll say we got one coming here. Maybe we got one coming here, splits off here. All right, so this is our pipeline. So here's the interesting thing. Let me ask you a question. Which direction is the oil moving in? So which direction is the oil moving in? Well, guess what? It's moving this way. It's moving this way. These things are designed for oil to be moving in a particular direction. This way. This way. Okay, this is very interesting. So, in other words, if the United States were to get all of their oil from, we'll just call it V, from Venezuela, well, sure, it's very easy for Venezuela to get into the Gulf of Mexico, or Gulf of America if you call it that. And, well, gosh, how are you going to move this oil into the heartland? How are you going to move this oil up to the east? You're not going to be able to, not without retooling to basically to be able to flow in the opposite direction. So it's kind of a very interesting thing right now. Right now, if we get a crap load of Venezuela oil, and they're not pumping a lot, but they do have reserves. They have quite a bit of reserves. So if we ship in as much Venezuela oil as we want, at this point, bare minimum, it could impact about 10%. About 10% of Canadian production. And where? Right in here. Right in there. That's where we're going to be impacted because you can get the oil to it. Can you get the oil up here? Nope. Can you get the oil to these refineries? Nope. You could argue that maybe on the East Coast you could, long trip up around. It's going to be more costly. It may not be cost effective. But initially, in the short term, you're looking at worst case scenario, probably 10% impact to Canadian exports of oil to the United States. So for people who are worried about the oil, I wouldn't be worried initially because we're still going to get this oil coming down. And the more I thought about it today, I was like, I got to share this in chat. Because it's kind of a really interesting, I think it's a really interesting dynamic, a really interesting setup to the whole oil thing. All right, with that being said, let's actually get to today's market. So we have a red day on the TSX. mostly powered by commodities. So one of the things that we are definitely seeing, well, we're seeing a few things. We're definitely seeing some modest gains on non-commodity stocks, which is fine. Um, but we are seeing some weakness in materials, mining, and most importantly, oil. Oil has had a little bit of a pullback today. So that has pulled the Canadian market, the TSX down. Right now we're sitting at negative 0.82%. So we are down a wee bit for sure. The United States seeing the same thing. S&P 500 down 0.34. Now you'll notice going back between Canada and the United States, we're both well above our respective blue lines. So we're still completely in a green January. We're still having a good month. Well, we probably have good mouths, I guess, too, but we are having some good months for sure so far. Now, the NASDAQ today is actually up a tiny bit. They're up 0.23, so they're a tiny glimmer of green, and that makes sense. Technology not necessarily impacted as much by, well, by some materials, yes, but by oil, not so much. So yeah, NASDAQ looking pretty good. Dow Jones Industrial down 0.96, and the Russell down 0.36. So I mentioned commodities and oil. Here we go. Here's our commodity group. Gold down 0.83 today. Silver, pretty much whatever gold does, silver does it better. So silver's down 3.55% today. Copper down 2.95% today. And oil, the star of our show, down a full 1.02%. We are seeing weakness in the crypto markets as well. Both Bitcoin and Ethereum well down. Bitcoin 3%, Ethereum almost 5%, so 4.85%. Holy banana bread. All right, let's actually look at a heat map here. This is the Canadian heat map, and boy, is it warm. A lot of glowing red here. We're seeing some big moves to the downside in certain sectors. Two that really stood out for me today, CNR down 3.35%, and CP Rail down 3.66%. So erasing a lot of the gains that had me excited earlier in the week. Oil stocks, of course, down. Canadian Natural Resources down 3.31. Imperial Oil down. Cenovus down. The banks kind of a mixed batch. CIBC is up a tiny bit, a 0.87, but BMO, Royal Bank, TD, Scotiabank, all down. National Bank actually down 1.32%. So other than CIBC, banks down a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit. Gold. So we got like Barrick Gold is down a wee bit. So what can I say? Looking south of the border, we've got an ad, and we'll get rid of the ad. Yeah, we're seeing a little bit of weakness in the market all across the board. One that stuck out for me was Caterpillar. So Caterpillar down 4.2% today. Technology, though, once again, technology not really being impacted by today's drivers so much, and as a result, a lot of up in technology. Google up 2.24, Microsoft up 1.06, Nvidia up 0.85, and Tesla up a wee bit too, 0.51 on the day. Everybody else pretty much down. A lot of red. And looking at crypto, well, we do have a lot of red. Bitcoin is down, Ethereum is down, Solana, XRP, Dogecoin, you name it, they're all down. Now, we do have a tradition here. Oh, I like to pick on a altcoin, and we're going to grab a green coin today. Some coin I've never heard of before. I'm going to go in here. Let's go with this little one down in here. What do we got? All right, this is NPCSAI. Guys, if you've been watching the show, I think this is the second AI coin that we have seen this week. So once again, this has me kind of thinking, what's going on? Are people just slapping AI on their meme coins now to get you to jump on them? So I would be very careful of this. And this is not only with altcoins, with penny stocks as well. You start seeing a lot of these technology startups that just throw AI into their name because then they're like, okay, yeah, people are going to just throw money at us if we have AI in our title. Be a little careful. Always research companies, stocks, and altcoins. Make sure you know what exactly they're doing. Now, this one's not worth much. It's worth 0.017 of a penny, so not a lot. I don't know what this does. It probably I'm very leery. This one makes me incredibly leery, like I said, because of that AI. So I call these crap coins, guys, because it's like going to the casino. You go to the crap table, you throw your dice, you're probably not winning. The house always wins. I just say always be careful with these. Do your research. Maybe this coin makes sense, but none of us are going to know until you actually do some research on it. So I always say lots of money to be made in crypto, but stick to the big coins. Stick to your Bitcoins, your Ethereum, your XRP, your Solana, your Cardano, and gosh darn it, even the Dogecoin. They're all much safer bets. All right, let's get back to our main window, and we'll go big for a bit as we take a look and see what's going on in chat. And we've got lots of time to the bell, so one of the nice things about starting the show earlier. So those of you who don't know, we now start at 3:30 instead of 3:45 Eastern. All right. In first, we got Claude. Hello. Kind of a mixed bag for me. Slightly in the red, but not too much. Zenial says good afternoon. Another bloody day on the TSX, mostly energy. Yeah, energy and commodities. And even with commodities, it's not that bad. So it is a little bit, you know what? Here's the thing. When you have a market like 2025, when you're, when you go up a crazy amount, there's likely to be some retraction along the way. And I think we're kind of seeing a little bit of that as well. So it is what it is, but I'm not super worried. Like, I'm not concerned. The word bear market, not even on my vocabulary this year. All right, Stan is in the house with a good afternoon, all. And Rob says, I wanted to buy SVRI shares ETF yesterday, and I'm glad I didn't because had a double look at the RSI, and it's currently sitting at 70 right now, and I'll wait for when it's 20 points lower. Fair enough. And guys, it never hurts. Like, if you're on the fence with an asset that you're thinking of buying, it never hurts to take a second look. It really doesn't. And even sometimes it doesn't even hurt to take a sleep on it and then take a second look. Because maybe you missed something. Maybe, the more research you do, the better. The better you're going to be, I think, when it comes to your selections. Scott is in the house with a howdy, y'all. Why videos? Hi, bought some Spotify and Berkshire Hathaway today. Nice. I like both. I like both of these companies. Paul is in the house with a good afternoon. Now we got Muggsy. Hello all. Hey Muggsy, how you doing? Brian says good afternoon, everyone. Brian, and I just got home in time. All right. All right. Rob's got a question here. Candace, is it a conflict of interest for your bank financial advisor to not want you to get into iShare ETFs? Okay. Oh, iShare. Okay. Because they would rather have you in mutual funds because their job depends on it. Of course, it's a conflict of interest. It's 1,000,000,000% a conflict of interest. I like financial advisors. I think it's a great role, but you do have to take, you have to figure out where they're coming from. So if you have a financial advisor that works for Royal Bank, well, it's in their best interest to put you on mutual funds from Royal Bank. And in fact, they're probably on the back end, they probably have a quota to hit, on how many people to move on to Royal Bank. And their performance, their pay is probably rated based on it. So yeah, there is a bit of a conflict of interest there when that happens. Now, if you have a financial advisor who does not work for a big bank, an independent financial advisor, then you don't have that conflict of interest. They're going to be probably a lot more upfront. But here's the thing. If you are working with a financial advisor who has a conflict of interest, you can just say, look, this is what I want. If you don't give me what I want, I will take my business elsewhere. That'll usually shut them up. That'll usually make them say, oh, okay, sure, you can have your iShares. And if they still refuse to give you iShares, you know what? There are other financial advisors out there if you need one. There's also do it yourself. There's a lot of things. So I would just say yes, absolutely. Always understand what the motivation is. And I say that. So for example, even on YouTube, let's just talk about YouTube. So if I do a sponsored video, I want you guys to take that into consideration, that video was sponsored. It doesn't necessarily mean that I'm being forced to say stuff I don't believe in. No, not at all. All it means is that video is sponsored. And, there might be things I'm not allowed to say. Luckily, I will say this, though. In the past, every sponsored video I've done, I have not had to change anything I said, which is good. Because and that's why, and I'm pretty picky with the companies I've let sponsor me in the past. But anyway, with the financial advisor, like I said, yeah, keep in mind that it's a conflict of interest, but at the same time, it's not like a legal conflict of interest. It's just you have to always know what that motivation is for the person. Crispy says hello all, and let's see here. Scott says the bigger threat to Canadian oil is overproduction, causing the price per barrel to drop below where Alberta is no longer profitable, and companies withdraw. I agree 100%, 100%. Now, some kind of good news about that as well is, now let me just see here. I read, OPEC. So OPEC actually has had a little bit of a response to what's been going on with the oil, and they've reaffirmed that they are keeping pauses on production hikes for Q1 2026. So we're talking January to March. So no production hikes. They've all been paused for OPEC. And basically, they're saying weak demand, growth just isn't there. So they are pausing it. So that is not going to add any extra bearish pressure to oil. So that's definitely a good thing. Definitely a good thing for sure. All right. Adorpat says, hi. Hi, all. Did you see Trump's new executive orders? I did not. I did not have a chance to look at that this afternoon. Any interesting ones? There probably is. I know he's got his eye on Greenland now quite a bit. So, but I don't know what these executive orders were. Let's see here. Rob says, why is the U.S. trying to take over a Venezuelan oil tanker that is stamped with Russian markings on it at the moment? Yeah, I've heard that they have been taking control of different Venezuelan tankers. I don't know if they're just going to turn them around and not send them to Venezuela. Maybe they're going to send them to the Gulf. I'm not sure what's going to happen there. I told you guys this is going to be messy. So I think it's still going to be messy. But yeah, and from the sounds of things, no, I don't think China's going to get all that oil they were supposed to get back from Venezuela. I have a feeling that's not going to happen at this point. But once again, the story's not over yet. All right, Morley is in the house with a hi, Candace and everyone. And Brian says, just slightly in the green today, up 0.15%. Just spent my dividend money, bought some CPCC and QQQI. Nice, nice. I like that. Scott says, financial advisors will be replaced by AI in the next 3 to 5 years. More than likely. It might even be faster than that. Actually today, guys, I was watching some crazy stuff coming out of CES, the Consumer Electronics Show. They actually had some of the robots on display. Holy banana bread! They're pretty. Some of them are pretty interesting. Like they're getting really, really movable. Now, mind you, most of the robots that I saw anyway were being controlled by people. So they weren't 100% autonomous yet, but that's the next step. But just the fact that the robot could move, that they can move very, very well. They're getting close. They're getting close. And some of the robots too. You can order them now. You can actually order a robot. So that's also kind of interesting. And I was actually thinking if I had a robot, even if it wasn't autonomous and I had to put on a headset and control the robot, it would be really cool. I would just like go for a walk and then have my robot go for a walk in the neighborhood. Of course, I'm controlling it. I don't know. I just thought that would be fun to run over to the store just to see people's reaction as a robot comes shopping. But well, on a cold day, that would definitely be kind of cool. Well, actually, it depends on how cold. I think most of the robots that we saw today, I think they're rated for about -20. So I think if it gets colder than that, they may not be allowed outside. So we'll have to we'll have to see. All right. Morley says saving my dividends this month to start the new INTI ETF. Ah, yes. So we looked at that yesterday. So of course, INTI is that new ETF coming out on, I believe, the 15th. It's coming out on the 15th from Evolve, and that is their international one. It's part of their ultra yield line, so it's going to be semi-monthly dividends. We don't know yet what the dividend's going to be, but I imagine it will be pretty half decent for sure. All right, we got Mark with 9 minutes to the bell. Hey Candace, too bad TradingView heat map can't be filtered by stocks versus ETFs. That would require having each ETF's full company exposure, which they do have. Yeah, it would be. I would like to have customizable heat maps. So that is something I was talking about that I think yesterday. So I would love to be able to even just have a heat map of a watch list. If we could create a watch list and get a heat map of it. And to me, it doesn't seem like that would be a hard thing to do. So I am going to try to see if I can find some way to do that, because I think that would be a lot of fun. Especially, we could have all of our favorites, or we could have, all of our favorite stocks, all of our favorite ETFs. That I think would be I think that would be very useful, to be honest. Sergi says, happy Wednesday, Candace. What do you think about Micron Technology plus 15% last week? Yeah, Micron is absolutely on fire, on fire. Let's pull them up. Let's pull them up here. We got time? Yeah, we got 8 minutes. All right, and I'm going to pull them up in here. Because I probably should already have had them here, because I think Micron's going to be fun to watch here. So today they're down though. Oh boy. But yeah, they have but look at this. And this here is going back to the middle of December. They've just been on a nice climb for the last 15 days. This is pretty cool. So yeah, no, I'm pretty bullish. I like Micron. I think Micron is going to do well. Obviously, they're a chip maker. There's going to be a lot of chips. We need a lot of chips for a lot of things, guys. Not just for AI, but also for the data centers, for all of these robots that they're going to be building. Chips are going to be at a premium. And also, and we've already talked about this, RAM is going through the roof. So I think one of you guys was mentioning that since last summer, it's 5x'd. Well, that's just the beginning. So it's going to be interesting. It will absolutely be interesting. All right, Rory says, hi, looks like U.S. oil dropped as well. ExxonMobil and Chevron are down from their latest highs. Absolutely. Vic is in the house, pulled over safely for mandatory brakes so I can join. Nice. Yeah, you can't have tired truck drivers out on the road, especially in the winter. Michelle says a big hello. I've missed much, I'm sure. You know what you missed, Michelle? Well, maybe this will get you. Maybe this will make you think, why did I miss it? Poo-poo. Let me pull it up here. Where the heck is it? You missed this. This is what you missed. For those of you who weren't here at the beginning, it's basically just we're only looking at about a 10% disruption in oil right now in the short term, because these here, all these red dots are refineries. These are pipes, and this is the direction all the oil's flowing in. So to be able to get Venezuelan oil to the interior, all of these, a lot of the refineries in the U.S., they would need to retool a lot of these. So it's not happening anytime soon. So in the short term, at best, they could maybe service about 10% of their refineries with Venezuelan oil. So Canada has that in our on our side. Has that on our side. So anyway, that's what you missed. That's what you missed. Vic says CPX up and down today. Nice. And we have Mary in the house. Welcome, Mary. Guys, Mary is the official captain of the like button. So if you have not yet hit that like button, now's the time. Just give it a good old click, turn it blue. While you guys are busy doing that, though, I'm going to have a little bit of coffee. Oh, I like that. So good. Claude says last 2 months are sideways for London Gold. Hopefully they pick up soon for another price hike. Of course, as you guys know, I do like London Gold, and I don't know if I'd call it sideways, but well, here, let's take a good look. And we're gonna go over to the London Gold. Here we go. I almost broke into a musical. What was going on? All right, London Gold, and I'll bring up the 3-month chart. So not entirely sideways. I mean, they're still moving up. They're just not moving up as fast as they had been moving up. So when you look at the last year, it's pretty steady. And even when you look at it from this perspective, still impressive. Still impressive. So I think gold is going to continue to go up in 2026. It's not going to go up at the speed that we've seen before. But that means companies like London Gold, I think they're going to do well in 2026 for sure. All right. Claude. Vic says, I did my civic duty. All right, you hit the like button. At first, as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, are you on a jury? Oh my God, I almost got into jury duty last year. So luckily, actually, I think was it last year or the year before last? Oh my God, time is just starting to blend together. But I almost had to do my civic duty, but I managed to get out of it. I don't think I can get out of it next time. Rob says, now I'm reading that Russia attacked the U.S. with drones at some U.S. facility offshore. I haven't heard anything about that. I hope that's not. I hope it wasn't a reliable source, Rob, because that's that would be more mess. That would be more mess for sure. Actually, funny little story. The other morning, Jill woke me up by playing air raid sirens. I don't know what she was thinking. She says, she was like, "Oh, they didn't freak you out?" I was like, "Nope, nope. No, they weren't loud enough. They weren't loud enough. What can I say?" Wahipple is here. Hey, I am here. Nice, and there you are. Brian says it was just a year or two ago that George Jetson was born, according to the cartoon. Oh, the Jetsons. Yeah, I think they promised us flying cars. We're not even close yet. So yeah, still no flying cars. There are some flying drones starting to get close to release. But you know what? Here's the thing. Guys, the world is almost turning into a world where we're not even going to need flying cars, because everybody eventually, you'll either be working at home or you may not have a job if AI takes over everything. So it could be interesting. I don't know what the future is going to look like, but I'm anxious to see it. I am definitely anxious to see it. Wahipple, the Jetsons, I think about that FaceTiming with my mom because I thought the video phone was so cool, and she told me that was ridiculous. It is, and what you're going to have eventually, Wahipple, probably sooner than later, like when Apple came out with their with those headsets, they had what was that, Apple Vision Pro? Those had an option where you could have like an avatar. So I think once we get to a point that you can have a digital clone, you could probably, you could be lying around in your pajamas all day if you wanted to, and while you're talking to people on, on your video phone or on your, on your headsets or maybe your smart glasses, it could play the avatar. So you don't have to you don't have to get up, you don't have to shower and Well, hope if you smell, hopefully you shower, but you know. Bill says, oh, guys, it almost happened again. Woohoo, market is closed. I got distracted and I caught it at 7 seconds after 4. Holy banana bread. I might just have to set like a 1 minute timer, like something to go off at like 3:59 so that I don't miss. I might just have to do that. Oh boy, but that was close. All right. Sorry. I was now back to Bill. Back to our regularly scheduled Bill. All right, there we go. TradingView has an ETF heat map. Start at their intro page, use the products drop down menu, go to, yeah. We were actually looking at that one yesterday. So yeah, like, let me show you guys. This here, I'll just gonna duplicate the tab. And very simple, products, screeners, products, screeners, heat maps down here, ETFs, and it brings up an ETF one. But what we were talking about yesterday was being able to pick and choose the ETFs that we want to see in our heat map. So for example, I think yesterday they were talking about, could we get one with just had covered call ETFs? Or, you know, and right now, like there is a few things in here, like you can change like wonder if it's got no group asset class. Okay, all right. No, that's just how it sorts it here. Asset under management. So there are a few different things in here, like price. Yeah, there's a few things you can change, but I would like to have a lot more flexibility in it so that we could have it. What I'd like to do, Bill, is if we had a group, if we created a watch list for the group, then we could actually have a heat map for that. So, you know, everybody's favorites could be in there, whether they're ETFs, stocks, whatever. I think that would be kind of cool. So maybe down the road. Brian, let's see, I have a couple of DJI drones for photography. Okay. And let's see, Gursky, hello. Has anybody seen how RS has shot up in the last couple of days? No. Let's actually take a gander here. Let's head on over. RS. Here we go. This, of course, being a split core. This is a real estate split core. Interesting that look at this. Let's just pull up the 1 year and take a look. Yeah, look at this. Now, mind you, you could look at this and say, okay, they've just recovered from what they've lost here, but nonetheless, nice little ride back up. So let's see if they can get over this area because they've been struggling to get above like, well, I'd say above 1030. So it'd be nice to see if they could actually get some momentum on this one as well. All right. Michelle's is cool. Thanks. Scott, good to get them before they are all made in America. The U.S. drones are garbage. I don't know. I've never used a drone, so that's interesting. I don't know. So yeah, the commercial ones. Hippo, I got a jury duty letter last summer, and in the end, I didn't have to go. Oh, nice. But did you actually go to the courthouse and actually go through the selection process, Wahipple? In my case, I had a doctor's appointment, so I just reached out to my doctor and I said, "Can I have a letter to excuse me from my jury duty?" And they were like, "Sure, it'll cost you $10." I'm like, "Okay." And I got a letter. I sent it off to the sheriff, and bang, boom, I was out of jury duty. All right, Roku says, "Hi all, can we move the start time back to 3:45? Can't wake up in time from my nap." Oh no. I'll try not to cover anything important in the first 15 minutes for you, Roku. How's that? We'll try to keep it pretty light. Oh boy. So guys, our next video, I want to talk a tiny bit about it. I came up with a neat little concept. So I'm going to do every sector, but so far we're going to do 5 in each video. So we'll do a couple of these videos. So I'm looking, this is going to be dividend growth. So sorry, dividend growth. Growth income. We're looking at growth income. So basically we're looking at those stocks that have growth as well as income. Or sorry, the ETFs. And I'm going to do one for each sector as well as some general categories. So for example, for the first video, we're looking at the overall US market, Canadian market, and 3 of the sectors. And I'm going to give you my pick. So my favorite ETF in each of them. And then I'm also going to give you a wild card. So somebody who's basically the wild cards are going to be new ETFs because the actual picks for these, I need a little bit, I need at least a 3-year history. So if you don't have 3 years, you can't be the main ETF for the sector. But anyway, I got that scripted today. It actually took, it almost took twice as long as normal to script. So I'm pretty happy with it. Pretty darn happy with it. And the beautiful thing is that I think, if you guys remember when I did that 100K windfall series, you know, I did the 3 and then I did an extra video at the end with all of them put together. I might do a similar thing with this. I don't know. Right now I'm visualizing it as, I think 2, because like I said, we got 3 sectors, 2 other sort of 2 categories in the first one. The next one, I think I'm going to have 1 subcategory and 4 sectors. So that'll be 7 sectors. So I think that'll probably do it. And then I'll put them both together into one video at one point down the road a little bit. So it could be interesting. Jonathan, getting caught up at 3x. Bell at sonic speed. I almost want to just go in and listen to the bell one day at 3x to hear what that sounds like. But holy cow, that could be interesting. I can't watch at 3x. Once you go past about 1.5, it's just like, what the heck? What the heck are they saying? You know, it gets like, it's like trying to decipher chipmunks in the park. It's just not going to happen. So what can I say? Heather's in the house. Hello, Heather. Looking forward to the new videos. Nice. Yeah. I've got a whole bunch. Like, I've got a lot planned. And, oh, God, by the way, guys, those of you who are not on the Facebook group or the Discord group, we got 2 of them. I keep the schedule up on both of those. So just to give you an example here, I'm going to go over to Discord. And here it is. Here's the schedule. I didn't realize I was on the schedule. All right. I do keep a copy of the schedule just so that you guys can sort of see what is happening. I've got the schedule going right now up until March 1st. Now, obviously, video TBD, you know, to be determined because I haven't figured out what they're all going to be. But as soon as I do know one that's going to be in a place, I will certainly I'll certainly put them in. So I can tell you right now, this one here. So this was the tentative title, but it's basically the one I just described. So hybrid ETFs for 2026. That one is coming out on the 9th. Yeah, the 9th on Thursday. And then after that, I'm going to do the 5 stocks. So you guys know every year I pick those 5 stocks that I think are going to have a really good year. I'm going to do it again. And here's the worst part about this. One of the stocks I picked last year was IVN. And I still feel like they're going to have a great year this year. But can I pick the same stock 2 years in a row? I don't think I can. But so I might not be, even though I think IVN should be on this list, I may not put them on the list because I'm probably going to try to come up with 5 new stocks. So I got to do some digging for that one for sure. The fun. Michael, I love this question. I haven't even read it yet, and I know I love this question because I saw the word Algonquin. And today when I was looking for the title of this particular market close, I actually thought about going with an Algonquin title because Algonquin, they've been doing really, really well. And I just kind of wanted to, because not that long ago, Algonquin was a dumpster fire. But they have been. And in fact, and I know I haven't even read your question yet, Michael. I'm sorry. I'm going to pull up Algonquin, then I'm going to read your question. Okay? AQN. Here we go. Algonquin. So look at this today. They're up 3.61%. So yeah, nice little bump here for sure. Let's pull up the last year. Does this look like a dumpster fire? Not anymore, that's for sure. So AQN, maybe they're back in business. But all right, let's actually read Michael's question. Hello, sorry, whoops, there we go. Hello, oh, come on, guy. Sorry, it's just, all right, you know what? Let's go there, and then we'll go there. There we go. It was highlighting the letters too, so it was blue on blue, so I couldn't actually see it. But here we go. Hello, Candace. When you talked about Algonquin months ago, unlikely to decline further, I took a position at about $8. Any idea why it has not declined as much as the other oil plays? All right. Well, first of all, Algonquin is not an oil play. let's that's what I want to throw out. Algonquin actually falls under utilities. So that is, they provide power. So they do provide power. It is a highly regulated, it's a highly regulated sector. I mean, utilities are highly regulated. So they do provide power in the U.S. I think they also provide power in Canada. But I know a lot of it is in the U.S., but it is all regulated. It's all contracts with governments. It's one of the reasons that typically they're supposed to be pretty stable. Now, Algonquin got themselves in trouble back. Well, let's go further back, and you can see where Algonquin was in trouble. Here, this was the trouble. But Algonquin got themselves in trouble. They got their debt got out of control. They had bad management, and they got rid of that management. They sold some of their assets to help pay down the debt. So they've really, really turned themselves around. And interesting, I've done deep dives on Algonquin through the down days. And quite literally, you'll be able to find them on the channel. They all have pictures of dumpsters on fire. So, no, and I'm not lying. They do have pictures of dumpsters on fire. So, yeah, Algonquin has had a rough time, but they've actually turned themselves around. And this has been impressive. Are they going to get back up here to like $11? Probably not anytime soon, but for now, I definitely think above $9 is very possible. So I am liking where Algonquin is going. I don't think of them as a dumpster fire anymore. My opinion has changed. All right. And Scott says Ferran had a little bump today. I've not seen that. So I do have Ferran in the 0 to 100K challenge. So here it is. Ferran right here, technology group. Look at this, up 3.11%. But once again, technology. So a lot of the downward pressure on the market today is not tech driven. Tech companies have done okay today. Nothing really that bad about it. But yeah, Ferran, once again, look, here's another company, and I'll show you. So yeah, this is a company I hold in the 0 to 100K challenge. I have a lot of faith in them. They have made some movements up. They've been moving sideways for a bit, but I do think that this is a company that will last the test of time. I have no intentions of selling them, at least anytime soon. And that's an interesting thing, because there have been some companies that I like that I have sold to sort of roll into some ETFs, but I haven't done that with Ferran. All right, Randy's in the house with a hello, everybody. Could it be because they hold oil in the U.S.? Once again, Michael, not oil. They're utilities. Utilities, power. They hold power in the U.S. Somebody the other day mentioned Grayskull, and I'm thinking, that vision popped in my head. I've got the power. All right. Michael Keystone, once again, many thanks. I did not know it was a utility. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, they are a utility for sure. Vic says Algonquin did the hokey pokey and turned themselves around. That's what it's all about. Yep, that's exactly what it's. Oh, yeah, Scott says the same thing. That's what it's all about. The hokey pokey. What can I say, guys? It's fun. It's fun for sure. Oh, coffee, so good. And this here is actually a mocha coffee, so it's even better. It's even better. We are heading towards that big milestone, guys, the 10,000 subs. So I need to do something special for 10,000. And Jonathan, I'm not going to skydive. I'm just putting that out there before you say it. Not going to happen. But I do need to start thinking about that because right now we're 300 and change away from that. So it could happen sooner than you think. It really depends. Like if I get a breakout, like most of my big breakout videos normally bring in about 100 to 150 subs. So 2 breakout videos and we're there. So just kind of putting that out there. So we're getting close, guys. I'm expecting. Well, I'm hoping we hit it before the end of this month. So because I don't want it to drag too deep into the end of the year, but right now we need to think of something. And I love the idea of doing something that takes 10,000 seconds. That's kind of what I'm thinking. If there's something I can do that takes 10,000 seconds, like I was almost thinking if we had an event live stream that's exactly 10,000 seconds long, like nope, not even a second shorter or a second longer, and then we'll have to bring 10,000 into it in other ways. So anyway, that's kind of where I'm at on that. We're going to have to see what we can come up with. Your ideas are more than welcome because, hey, a whole bunch of heads all together is, it's better. It's better. Absolutely. All right. Larry's in the house. Hey, Larry, how are you? Let's see. Daily Journal now, 577. Charlie Munger was right when saying, you don't deserve what you're going to get. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Claude. No, we got the QQQ in here. Do you like technical analysis? I've seen you show concepts from time to time. I took interest in it recently, bought a book by Keith Richards, and love it so far. Oh, wow. I didn't know the Stones did technical analysis. I know it's not the same Keith Richards, but I just had to say it. I had to say it for sure. So, do I like technical analysis? I do. Do I use it? I do. Do I use it? Do I use it a lot? I like the basics. I like to use the basics. Now, let's go back here for a second. We'll go into a few different things. We'll go to EXE first. So, and this here's a practical use here of it. All right, so here's EXE. All right, now let's gotta sort of pull this down a little bit just to make it so that we can sort of see what's going on. So, this is a channel. This is what I love. I love to use technical analysis to find channels because swing trading is really, really, really good in channels. And what will typically happen, and if you get a stock that moves into a channel, you can see up, down, up, down. Sometimes it will break out and it will come back in to the channel. Now, I will tell you in this case here, I did get kind of, when it sort of fell back again here and it fell down in here, I did get out when it popped back up in here. So I made a tiny profit, but I got out of the trade that I was making on here, not realizing it was going to get itself back in the channel. And that's for a couple of reasons. So when it comes to a channel like this, every time you hit, so the top of the channel is your, this would be considered resistance. This would be considered support. So every time you hit resistance over and over again, or you hit support over and over again, the chances of you breaking out of that channel increases. So this is kind of my thought, is that as this was moving and we started getting some of this, I was like, yeah, I think a breakout is imminent. It felt like it was imminent. It didn't. It actually came back into the channel and it kind of respected it again. So it looks like it's still active in this channel, but I'm going to give it a bit of time. See if it breaks out before I move back in. So I will use it. Now, you'll notice I've got double lines here. So why do I have double lines? Well, it's an interesting reason. The reason I have a double line is that because the support is up here, it doesn't always go all the way to the support. Sometimes it will change direction just before the support. Or also keep in mind that I like to think of this as having a standard deviation. So if you really think about it, let's just grab this. This is probably more accurate to sort of say, yeah, it is going to either, it'll somewhere's in that zone, it's going to reverse. And you'll notice here, when it broke through, it did reverse up there. So that's kind of that standard deviation. So I would look at that as standard deviation, knowing that it's going to break out. So and you know what? Let me do this to the bottom as well. Let me do it to both sides. All right, here we go. There we go. So as a swing trader, for me, the best chance of success is to stay outside of this standard deviation. So I will, for example, if I bought in here, well, I wouldn't have, because I wouldn't know that there was a channel here. Really, until about here, I might suspect a channel because I've got a little bit of movement. But more realistically, I'm probably getting into this trade in the middle. So if I suspect I have a channel here, I'm going to look at the inner levels of my standard deviation, and I am going to do my buying and trading on that. So I will buy on this top line, and I will sell on this bottom line. And I'll just keep myself in this narrow little area in here. So if this were to come back down and start to reverse at this, I might get back in for one more ride. Although I might just wait and see, because I really feel like it's going to break. But yeah, anyway, this is how I would play, and this is how I will use standard deviation. Standard deviation. This is how I will use my technical analysis. Now, there's a lot more to it. There are all kinds of shapes that a stock can make, like head and shoulders, a cup and handle, and there's a lot of really crazy ones as well. I don't put a lot of faith in those. I don't put a lot of faith in golden crosses and death crosses. I put faith in simple resistance. I put faith in channels because channels have worked. I've seen channels work a lot more than any of these shapes, than couple handles, head and shoulders. Nope. I don't put any faith in those. Maybe they work sometimes, but that might just be coincidence. It might just be simple chance. I find that this here is probably the most reliable technical analysis that I will do as a swing trader. It tends to be pretty good. And, plus I'll show you, it's not just like this is EXE. I was also doing it here, and this here is with Tesla. So we had a channel, and once again, remember how I mentioned the more it hits, the more likely it is to break out. In this case here, yeah, we broke out. We broke out big time. So, I'm still in a trade. I got in down in here. I'm waiting for it to come back, but I might be a situation here where I may have to sell and then re-enter at an even lower point. That's another option too, because that way there, I don't need to get as high to get back into the profit. So, I'm waiting for this one to set up a channel. Now, you could try to argue this. We got a little. Well, now we don't have any kind of discernible channel in this place, in this position. Now, I could, of course, I could start zooming out and sort of say, okay. Oh, and you can see here's another channel that we were in, and here's another channel back in here. So I could, zoom out and sort of see, okay, well, is there a bigger channel at play here? Maybe go to, right now I'm on the 1 hour because, for me, that's where I normally play at. Some people like to play on the 4 hours. I could change to a different time to see if I can find a channel in there. But on the time scale that I do my trading, the 1 hour tends to work the best. All right, anyway. All right. Brian says 10,000 seconds, 166 minutes. Yeah. So basically, that's almost 3 hours, not quite. And Mark is accusing Brian of using a calculator. Kelly says you could buy 10,000 units of a micro crap coin and we could follow its slow rise or fall. Oh, gosh. I could, if I bought 10,000 units of one of those ones that are like exponents to a penny, it probably cost me like $5. That would be funny. Other than the fact that it's a pain in the butt to buy a lot of those crap coins because you have to get on different exchanges. Sometimes there's fees and all of that. So that's probably not a great idea. But um, it's a neat idea to think about. It's definitely. I wonder if I could do that with a penny stock. That might be an idea. Uh, let's see. You bet I did. I was curious. Yeah, exactly. Who is Larry Williams? Jim Cramer says is the best for charts. Who is Larry Williams? Okay, Jim Cramer says is the best for chart. I do not know who Larry Williams is. Maybe it's Jim's neighbor. Honestly, I really don't know. I wonder. Let's see. You know what? We can take a gander here. Let's just Google this guy, Larry Williams. Larry Williams. I'm going to put in stocks here. Stock charts. There we go. Let's see who this is. Larry Williams, somebody from stock charts. Legendary trading superstar Larry Williams. Oh, okay. There he is right there. I guess there as well. I guess that's a younger version of him. But yeah, so yeah, this guy is Larry Williams. I don't know anything about him, but I'm always worried if Jim Cramer is getting his advice from Larry, how good can Larry actually be? So I'm a little concerned about that. So just something to keep in mind. Oh boy. All right, let's go back to this one. And actually, let's go big screen here until we need the thing. Larry, not Larry Williams, but Larry Summers says, Drunken Miller is my core example of technical analysis. All the iron, condor, and cup and handle, blah, 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 sounds like crap. But buying on previously established lows is real. Yeah, that's how this all works, right? You can find support and resistance levels by looking at previous lows because that's the fundamentals of what starts these resistance and support levels. That works. That is pretty legitimate. Does it mean it works 100%? No, nothing works 100%. Otherwise, if it did, I would be very rich. Whoops, sorry. I forgot to put up Larry's here. I read it, but I didn't put it up. Yeah, and Larry is making a living out of, investing other people's money. So, and he's kind of following in that same kind of footstep. So it shows you, don't get too deep into it. Understand the basics of technical analysis, understand the base of levels and supports, and I think you'll be fine, to be honest. Scott, when I was a kid, the teachers would say, "You're not going to carry a calculator around, are you?" Boy, were they wrong. I know. It's like a calculator. I carry a computer around. I carry an AI around that has access to everything. So yeah, absolutely. Rory's looking for some standard deviation. There we go. To me, looking for shapes and charts is like making animals out of clouds. Yeah, that's always fun. Sounds like a Rush song. Rush. You gotta love Rush. I think Rush is awesome. Oh, I'm going through my coffee too fast, guys. Larry, I don't even go past basic math from elementary school when figuring out things. All right. Well, I will tell you, I had when I used to manage. I used to manage in a Staples, like not a Staples store, but a Staples corporate call center. And somebody, one of my people on the phones, they were having some issues. They were trying to figure out a corner desk size that would fit for this customer. And I just walked up to him and I said, "Okay, well, use the Pythagorean's theorem." And they just looked at me like, "What?" I said, use the Pythagorean's theorem. What is it? B squared equals A squared plus C squared, or I think it's C squared equals A plus B squared. A squared plus B squared, and it's just a simple thing. It's just and that way there you could sort of calculate the size. and you can get your distances. And they're just like, um, my teacher said I would need it, but I never believed him. And so I was like, yeah, for sure. Now, Rory says grade 3 arithmetic is all you need to trade. For the most part, yeah. I mean, because basically with trading, you're dealing with addition, subtraction, division, and, well, percentages. Now, there are some things that get a little more complicated, but it's really, I mean, if you break it down, it's not that complicated at all. And, most things like, for as a trader, you can get, like, there's websites that do all the math for you. You don't have to do it. Like, for example, um, looking at a fair value of something using a discounted cash flow model. You don't have to do all that math. You can go to something like simplywall.st. They'll do it for you. So it is there. Now, there are some folks, like you guys probably, Scott. So I don't know if you guys know Scott. Oh, what the heck is the name of his channel? I should remember it. But yeah, it's a US channel. He does a whole bunch of them, and he has spreadsheets that do it for him. And and I think he even gives us spreadsheets out if you want to copy. What is his channel name? Scott's. Oh, I can't remember. Boy, I haven't been there in a long time, and yeah. All right. Larry says, Rory, I use my fingers to count. And Roy says, okay, grade 4 then. You don't have to be difficult. I've never used calculus in real life. Really? You've never come to a situation where you need to figure out the area under a curve? Come on, hasn't everybody? No, I know, nobody probably has. I like calculus though. I like it, but I've never really had to use it. So yeah. Mary says, doing the math, only half have hit the, uh-oh. Yeah, doing the math, only half have hit the like button, guys. There's 83 of you here. That means there's only 41 and a half likes. So I don't even know how we got the half like, but guys, hit the like button. It's not a hard thing to do. It does help the algorithm. It pushes, it'll help it push it out, all of that fun stuff. All right. Larry says, aside from decimal division or multiplying, all in my head are or hands or written down. There we go. 78 watching, 35 likes. Why all dropping? LW and CPB and KHC and PEP. People don't eat anymore? People still eat, absolutely. You got to look at it this way too, though. Sometimes when you do have a big pump to the upside, and even when you're looking at a lot of American companies like Pepsi, for example, is in there. You will have corrections. Things can't move up forever. You move up, you come down. You move up, you come down. It's a normal pattern. So I think in that situation, yeah, you're seeing that happen. But yeah, people are still eating and people are still drinking Pepsi and all of that stuff. Brian, when I took digital electronic, I never did figure out Boolean algebra. Asked the teacher for help. He was clueless, said, don't worry about it. It's not on the module test. Damn liar. No, that's always fun. Larry says I failed math. Oh boy. All right. Muzamel says CPCC is only for copper or it has other metals in it. What is your favorite gold, silver, and copper combined ETF? Okay, so CPCC is not just copper. So it is holding companies that are copper producers, but a lot of these companies are also pulling gold and silver, zinc, a lot of other minerals. So you are getting exposure to a lot of other materials in there as well. So, and actually here, let me show you something. Let's actually go. Boop-a-doo. All right, we're gonna come over here. We're gonna, sorry, Larry, we're gonna leave you alone, Mr. Williams. Let's go back to Google. CPCC, and that's a global X. So let's just put that in here. All right, Global X. Here we go. So yeah, we come in here, and if we take a look here at product facts holdings, here's what I want to look at. So right here, look at this. Right here, this is what I wanted to show you. London. London Mining Corporation. You got Southern Copper, Hud Bay Minerals, Capstone Copper, Rio Tinto, First Quantum Minerals, Ivanhoe in here, so IVN. These all, so keep in mind, this is not London Gold, by the way. This is a different company, London Mining. But they all are going to look at more than just copper. There's going to be gold in there. So Ivanhoe, for example, right in here, we already know Ivanhoe, they do have a good gold presence as well. So you are getting gold with this one as well as copper. So I would look at it as being a material ETF that's heavy on the copper side, which is fantastic because copper, I'm very bullish on copper. Okay. Brian says in grade 10 math, I got 98%. That's not too shabby. Math is one of those subjects that's very easy to lose points from careless errors. It really is. XMA. Okay. I'm not sure what you want to know about XMA, but let's go take a gander. Let's go pull it up here. XMA. Here we are. So we got, once again, capped materials. I love it. So yeah, iShares has a whole bunch of these. So you got like XUT for utilities, XEG for energy, XST for consumer staples. But XMA, and this is their materials one. So cap materials index. So I do love this lineup that iShares has. And this one has done really well in the last year. So look at this. A year ago, they opened at 22.48, and now they're at 44.21. So they have, well, basically doubled, almost. We're so close to being a doubling. But yeah, this is a fantastic one here. You're not going to get a lot of dividends, like quite literally here. Look at this, 0.386%. So not a lot of dividends, but a lot of growth in here. So this is a fantastic. If you're a dividend growth investor, this is probably an ETF that would really, really make you happy because it's going to give you a lot of growth. And I think this is just beginning. I think this is still going to be a nice, strong one through 2026 as well. All right. Now, let's see here. Where are the banana bread? Here we are. Scott says, I just realized that it counts me twice for watching because on my phone chat and TV watching. Okay, well, there we go. Well, I don't know if it will. If you're using the same username on both, it may not count you as two. Because I think it counts by your, your username. So if Scott Evil is the one on both of those, it probably only counts as one. I think. It's the YouTube algorithm sometimes confuses everybody. KHC is breaking apart and has always been dropping. Berkshire bought in like the 60s or 80s. It's now low 20s. So here's KHC. That one there, maybe that one's a problem. Michael, I think it was Michael who was asking about it. Scott, there are 10 types of people. Those who understand binary and those who don't. That's technically, I see what you did there. There are 1, 0. So that actually is 2. That means 2 in binary. So there are 2 types of people, those who understand binary and those who don't. That's brilliant. I like that. Now, there are going to be people who don't get that. And they're like, 10 types. Where are the other 8? But no, we're talking in binary here. All right. Brian says, LOL, Scott. Yeah, absolutely. Even Ricky from TBB got his grade 10. So Trailer Park Boys. Yeah, Trailer Park Boys. I had to think for a second. Ricky got me. It was as soon as you said Ricky, I'm like, how many Rickies do I know? Trailer Park Boys. There we go. Thanks a lot. You're welcome. All right. Paul says, McDonald's being sued over the McRib. Yes, I've heard that. They're saying that, the rib part of the McRib is not actually it should be a bone. It shouldn't actually be just more of the meat, and that they're using parts of pork that are not from the rib. I believe they're saying some of the lower parts and some of their stomach and a few other things, but yeah. McRibs is also an interesting thing too. Yeah, it's weird. I know when I was a kid, I actually liked the McRib. I thought it tasted good, but as an adult, I've had the McRib again, and I'm like, oh my God, this doesn't even taste like real food. It's kind of disgusting now. But yeah, I can see McDonald's getting sued over. But at the same time, I mean, honestly, how many people go get a McRib and expect quality meat? You know, it's McDonald's. It's you're not getting quality meat. Um, let's see. The complaint adds that the rib-shaped patty is made of restructured pork using lower quality cuts of pork, including shoulder, heart, stomach, and tripe, instead of rib meat. Yeah. Although the heart, I will put this in there. The heart's actually not a bad thing to eat. It's probably one of the more nutritious parts of the pork, to be honest. But nonetheless, yeah, I understand. Scott says that surprised people. Sorry, I meant for gold, silver. You mean what? Oh, XMA. Yeah, it's going to have a bit of everything. I mean, it does materials, right? So it should have, and I don't know, do I still have, is this? Yeah, it is here. Let's see here. So it should have a little bit of exposure to everything in here. So let me see here. Does it actually break it down in here? No, but if we go to XMA, let's actually do that. All right, let's close here. Let's close here. We need to go to iShares now. Now we'll just do a Google. All right, XMA iShares. Whoops, let's see if we can spell correctly today. All right, XMA iShares. Here we go. Cap Materials. And this is one thing you guys can all do. You can just go, you can grab any ETF. If you head to their website, you should be able to have a section called Holdings. So here we go. So here gives you an ideal. So we got Angigo, Eagle Mines, Barrick Mining in there, Wheaton Precious Metals, Franco-Nevada, Kinross Gold, Nutrien. Not thinking about that type of materials, but it is technically a material, sure. Pan American Silver. So you can see right in the title, you've already got silver and gold. But yeah, you're going to get some copper in there too. You're going to get some other materials, zinc, obviously, I guess potash, and nitrogen. So you're getting a good amount. I think you're getting a good diversification of materials in XMA. All right. Paul says the McRib seems more like hot dog ingredients. Kind of, for sure. Wait until they find out about McNuggets. Yeah, they don't come from the part of the chicken they suggest they come from. That's for sure. Let's see. I have XMA and COPP. Nice. So COPP is another copper ETF. Scott, not originally my joke. No worries. Bismarcky, bring back the McPizza. Do you guys remember the McPizza? I thought the McPizzas were good. I liked them. I'm with Bismarcky on this one. I like the McPizzas. But now that's going back a ways. Rory, must be nice being a lawyer in America. You never run out of work. Nope, that's for sure. Luke is in the house. Hi, all. I've decided to be contrarian and buy more ENCL. I just don't see this Venezuela thing destroying the Canadian oil and gas industry. Yeah, I actually started off the show talking about that. Should I show it one more time, guys? Maybe I should. Let me see here. Where the banana bread is my... Oh, it's over here. Bang. So yeah, so this here... Luke, and this is kind of give you a general idea. So the green lines here are the pipelines coming down. They're not 100% accurate. I just sort of put them together. And the red things are all of the refineries. Now, the oil flows in the direction of these arrows. So all of the oil's flowing down. It's not flowing up. So to get the oil from Venezuela to flow all the way back through this whole system, it's going to take a lot of retooling. It's not something that can happen overnight. If anything, 10%, if we had unlimited Venezuela oiling coming in, they can only process about 10%, and that would be in those refineries on the Gulf. So yeah, that is true. That is absolutely true. So right now, a lot of what we're seeing, at least in the Canadian companies, is, well, two things. One, oil is down itself. So yeah, there's that pressure. But the rest of it is just more or less people sort of speculating on what's going to happen. So a little bit of fear in there. Paul says, remember the Subway chicken patty thing? Haven't eaten at Subway in years. Did they have a chicken patty? Oh, God. I don't know if I would trust that. Rory, I'm in the same boat with CAD Energy. It will be cheaper to buy. Um, Mark says, Scott, you should be Scott super funny instead of Scott evil. Well, there we go. Scott has just begun a new career in stand-up comedy. Maybe. Let's see. ACI beat that still drop from KR. So if these foods selling off that beat earnings that people will eat before buying any type of tech, and these type of companies fall, then tech is in a bubble. I wouldn't quite go that far. I mean, is there a bubble? Like, this is the whole thing. Like, when you're talking about tech, and obviously, if you're talking about a bubble, the only bubble it could be is an AI bubble, and I don't see it as being a bubble. In a bubble, everybody is inflated in price, and sure, it looks that way right now, but a lot of the companies at the top, they do have the business to support what they're doing. They do have they are able to support a lot of those valuations, so they're not as far out as they would seem in a bubble. Now, I think there's a lot of companies that are in sort of pseudo bubbles on the side that will absolutely have some serious corrections this year. So I'm not super worried about tech. I'm really, really not. Paul says 9 Point Energy Fund, so NGRI, will increase its annual distribution target by 100% from 7% to 14% effective January 15th. Oh, that's interesting. That is very, very interesting. Huh. Yeah, that would definitely be interesting for sure. Good old 9 Point. What are they up to with that? Brian says, McPizza. Ew. Might as well just buy a McCain's frozen pizza. But Brian, have you ever tried one? Like, I actually thought they tasted pretty good. They're crispy, and I mean, they were good. All right. Let's see. Never heard that. I like that Canoe owns a bit of Berkshire and Wells Fargo. Yeah, no, Canoe is a fantastic, and we looked at them yesterday, so they were almost up to 16. I don't know if they broke 16 today or not. Let's actually take a look. EIT. Nope, sitting at 1590. So they didn't break it. Oh, that's too bad. I would have loved to have seen Canoe hit 16. I mean, now let me just double check. Oh, wait a minute. Oh yeah, they peaked. They peaked here at 1598 as a high. They got within 2 pennies of 16. What can I say? Paul said, I thought the McPizza was good. I know. So did I. But maybe, I don't know if Brian had any or not, but maybe Brian just happened to get one from a McDonald's where, one of those ones that just always has the shake machine broken, or not the shake, but the sundae machine broken. I mean, or soft cone machine. Is it it's the soft cone machine. I don't know. All right. Claude says, for a while in Quebec, they replaced the Smarties McFlurry with M&M. Was not as good. Google tells me they got back the Smarties one. Good thing. Okay. All right, sure, why not? McFlurries. I always thought McFlurries were kind of a cheap imitation of a Dairy Queen Blizzard. So that's what I say. Paul says, we should start a rumor if EIT drops below $15, then no distribution is paid. Absolutely not true. Not true for sure. Well, of course, it's a rumor, right? Yeah, I mean, if they were a split core, well, then we'd need 2 canoes. And, well, there actually are many canoes. There are a few other versions. There's actually a quarterly version of Canoe as well. But, yeah, no. Yeah, 15. Who knows? Don't know about McCain frozen pizza, but McCain frozen chocolate cakes. Oh, yeah, those are actually pretty good. And I'm not a cake person. I prefer pies. So what can I say? Yes, I tried one. I have a few decent local pizza places that I like better. Little Caesars Hot and Ready is much better. Okay, fair enough. Of course, I know I know back in the day, one of the big ones in the East Coast were Greco. They used to be the square pizza. You know, we have no corners so that you get more pizza. I remember that. According to my broker, I get a special from EIT. That would be a distribution, a nominal distribution. It's not. It's a non-cash. So if they are in your TFSA, it really makes no difference. Now the cake, you are 100% right. Let's see. My wife and daughter bought an ice cream bowl for a KitchenAid mixer. Okay. Well, we actually have one of those ninja machines that makes ice cream. So, you know, Jill in the summer makes all kinds of weird ice. Well, they're not weird. They're like mocha and things like that, or banana. They're pretty good. They're pretty good. All right, guys, we are getting close to the 1.5 hours. So, you know, if you got your final questions, get them on in. It's not as big of a rush as yesterday, but you know, get them in. We are back, by the way. We are back tomorrow, and tomorrow there will be an option to add Friday because we have the Financial Express that is moving. So until you guys end it, it doesn't stop. So you guys could keep me doing this every day all the way through 2026 if you want to. If you want to. My bet is it will stop eventually, I think, but it may not, and I'm okay with that. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm you know I'm in for the long haul for sure. So oh boy. So good. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. How much further will CNQ drop? Good question. Good question. Um, I'm actually kind of okay with CNQ dropping because in the 0 to 100K challenge, if they drop below my adjusted cost base, I'm in. I'm in for more. So let's take a gander here. So right now they're dropping in response, of course, to the fact that oil's gone down. There's also a little bit of fear, but I mean, when you take a look at them, this is the 3 year. You can see support-wise, there's a lot of support in this area here. So 41, I can't see them falling below. I actually see that, I would say about 41.50 would be as low as I could see them going right now, but uh, we'll have to see. Rory's hoping for $36. I don't know if they'll go down that low. We did have this one moment right in here where they actually went down to, but keep in mind, you know what this is, right? This is Liberation Day. But Liberation Day, they went down to 34.92. So, Rory, you might need a pretty big event to get it down there, but I don't think it's going to go down that far. So, right now, like I said, we got a lot of fear going on. And even then, the fear is petering out, but you're not seeing it because oil is also dropping. So it's kind of hiding that people are regaining a little bit more confidence for sure. Trump just posted he is increasing the military budget from 1 trillion to 1.5 trillion to build the dream military. Wow, yeah. Oh, I mean, if he wants to conquer all these places, you know, he's going to take Colombia and Cuba and Greenland and Canada. Yeah, he's going to need a big military to hold it all for sure. I don't think he's going to take Canada, but you know, just saying. Scott says it's all FUD right now. Yeah, exactly, FUD. So fear, uncertainty, doubt. And Brian says tariffs will pay for it. Yep. Right after it eliminates taxes. Yeah, I mean, you know, there's going to be no income tax in the United States, which is great. After they conquer Canada, no income tax, guys. Oh, wow. But yeah, they're going to, you know, it's going to be rainbows and unicorns and all of that fun stuff. Unless it looks too gay, then they might actually say, nope, can't have that. We'll have to see. Oh boy. Trumpetary. Ah, boy. Yeah. What can I say? All right, guys. We have, we're there. This is another fantastic show. You guys are a great audience as usual. And we'll be back. We're going to do this all over again tomorrow. And we'll see what the market holds. I'm hoping for a little bit of recovery and energy, to be honest, but we'll see if we get it. I will say one thing though, guys, I have one more thing I do want to say to you guys, and that is, well, bye-bye.